It's always all about you, isn't it? Isn't it? I be fly like a man on the moon. I be fly like a man on the moon. It's always all about you, isn't it? Isn't it? Yo, what's up, everybody? I'm back today for FL Studio tutorial number 17. This is actually a redo of the last tutorial. I took it down, deleted it, decided I'm going to do it again. It'll probably be a little bit better this time, easier to understand, and I think if you watch this video, when it's done, you'll be able to write a song. So just watch and pay attention here. It's really easy. First thing, I'm going to go back to the circle of fifths. This is a chart, and it tells you what notes work with other notes. And that's important because you can put them in chord form and create really good melodies, songs, like, you know, more complex than just a single note. So if you look at this, I'm going to go ahead and pick a note. And the way that this chart works, I'm going to start with A minor. What this means is D minor is to the left of it. It's touching this little pie slice on the graph. So A minor, that means D minor is going to work with this chord. And on the other side, it's touching it also on this side. E minor will work too. And also on top of that, C major will work. And then right here at these points, F major and G major will work too. So that's with A minor. And in some other cases, depending on the melody that you're working with, sometimes D major and sometimes B flat will work with A minor. It just depends, but not every time. But almost always, since it's touching here, here, and all three of these chords to A minor, they're going to sound good together. And you could pick any other note on the chart and kind of look at it the same way, and it works the same way also. So if I'm going to go with B major, that means F sharp or B or G flat, E major, C sharp minor, G sharp minor, D sharp minor. All these chords will work with B major. You could do A and so on and so forth, all right? So again, I'm going to start with A minor. Now, hopefully that makes sense. And what I have is a track here that's already laid out as far as the arrangement of the types of parts in the song go. If you go to Tools, let me back up here. If you go to View, Playlist, this will come up. This is the actual playlist where you're arranging out your patterns here in FL Studio. And if you go to Tools, or actually just from this drop down, Time Markers, add one. It puts one of these in here, and you can drag it around and put it wherever you want. You can right click on it and rename it, name it whatever you want, so on and so forth. So I've just done this to kind of start laying out a song. I've got an intro, a verse, chorus, verse 2, chorus 2, bridge, chorus out, and the song ends right here. All right, so this is just like a standard, like a radio pop arrangement, but you can do this with any kind of music because obviously in between the chorus and the verse, maybe you'll drop a couple of bars here and do a transition or a change up or a drum roll or something like that to make it more interesting. The same with the chorus. If you're doing dance music or anything like that, maybe you do a big build up here into this chorus. The bridge typically is only 8 bars, but you know, you can always make it longer. You can do whatever the hell you want to do with it. I'll get more into that in the next part of the tutorial, and then you just close it out with the chorus. So, all right, let's move on to building the melody. All right, everybody, so let's look at the circle of fifths chart and build the melody. I'm going to start with A minor. So that means C major, G major, F major, D minor, and E minor. All of these chords will work. I'm going to probably just use 3 of them, maybe 4 to help build the intro. So I'm going to just build the verse first. That'll make most sense so you can hear the melody. I've got a piano loaded up here. It doesn't matter what instrument you do this with. This is just to sketch out an idea. get a melody in there and get an idea going for a song. Go back, add transitions, effects, vocals, I don't know, whatever the hell it is that you want to do to build it up from here. But I'm starting with a piano. So if I go to the option drop down up here and go to chord, minor, again, I'm starting with A minor. So I just drew in an A minor chord there. I'm going to go back to chord again and go to major. And the chart said C major will work. So here's A minor, C major, and then I'll use F major. So again, I'm still on major. And I'll draw in an F chord here. And you can hear what it sounds like. Nothing crazy, but it's a simple melody to get going. Loop it 4 times. In the pattern verse. Trying all the verses here. So we've got our verses in position, and leading into this part here. Let's go back to the chart. So I want to use a different note, and I'll show you what I mean for the intro, something to kind of sound different, I guess, to lead into the progression for the verse. I'll go with like E minor or D minor. Let's just try both of those and see which one sounds good. And that'll fill in this part here for the intro. So E minor. Of course, you can do something to make it more interesting. That sounds pretty good, leading right into the verse. Now for the chorus, I'm just gonna go back to one of my tricks that I like to do. I'm gonna copy the verse, paste it into a new pattern or loop, I guess you could say. Okay, so it's the same progression as the verse, and this is the inverted chord thing that you can do. The middle note in each of these chords right now is C5, for example. I'm gonna bring it up an octave to C6, do the same to E6 on that chord, and then the last chord E4 or A4 up to A5. Alright, so it's just the same as the verse, but a little more dramatic, I guess. Alright, and then back to the verse. And here's another chorus, and this is really plain and simple. I'll get more into detail in future tutorials on, you know, how you can make it more interesting and less repetitive. But for now, I'm going to go to the next part here because it's going to take a little bit more time. I'm going to talk about the bridge, what it's there for, and what to do with it. So stop it here and go to part 3. Alright guys, I'm back for part 3 of arranging and building a song. I'm at the point now where we need to do the bridge. And if you don't know what a bridge is, I'm going to cover it more in the next few tutorials that I do after this one, 5 tips to help your mix. And you should definitely subscribe because I'm going to get more in depth on a lot of things, including this part right here with the bridge. A theory with the bridge. Let's back up again and start looking towards the beginning of the song just to kind of help understand where we're at, because I drew in a lot of shit here really fast. We start with the intro. And we go into a verse, we hit the first chorus. This is about 37 seconds into the song. Verse 2 drops right after the chorus. Chorus 2 comes in again, right after the second verse. Now we're at the point where we need a bridge, a nice change in the melody to help make it interesting, but also to help build up the last chorus out. And what this really is right here, when you listen to a song that first time and you really like it, and it either gets you pumped up or you get the goosebump feeling in your arms, you get the chills, whatever it is, depends on how much you like music. This is where that happens. You have to create a melody here that kind of complements the original melody of the song. And what that ends up doing is help build up the chorus out and make it sound that much better. So what we're going to do with the bridge is I have this little rule that I follow that I read somewhere back. For a bridge, take the key of the song, which is the first note that we chose when we started. It's the first note in the melody of the song, and it's A minor. And they say to drop it down 2.5 steps or 2.5 notes and use that in 8 bars. They call it a bridge. Some people call it a middle 8, and that just means 8 bars. And use that 2.5 step down chord from the key of your song, and then use that to lead into the chorus out. Now, like I was saying earlier, you can make the bridge longer if you want and do whatever you want with it, but I'm going to keep it simple today. And I'm going to go 2.5 steps down. So back to the circle of fifths, we chose A minor. If I were to go down 2 notes, I would go backwards to G, backwards another step to F, and then I get back to E. So really it's just A, B, C, D, F, G backwards. All right. So I end up at E, and ironically, I'm in the key of A minor. I chose E minor in the intro chord just because of the circle of fifths chart told me that it would work. And it ends up that I could probably use this as a bridge. Hang on here, let me just draw it in. And actually what I think I might do just to make it more interesting, I will put it on a different pattern. Go back to it here. Alright. And instead of it just being one long drawn out note, since the point of a bridge is to help build up to the leading out chorus, just do a little chord inversion there, make it a little more interesting. Then I'll wrap up this tutorial. This got screwed up here. Draw back there, and then draw it in, and finally we can have a listen to it. And just kind of listen to how the chorus goes here, and then it leads into the bridge. And then back to the chorus out. So you kind of get the idea. It's nothing fancy at all, but if you do some cool transitions and use good sounds and instruments other than just sketching it out with the piano, it comes out sounding pretty cool. So that's it, guys. I'll be back with more tutorials. Subscribe, comment, like the videos. Later. I be fly like a man on the moon. I be fly like a man on the moon. It's always all about you, isn't it? Isn't it? I be fly like a man on the moon. I be fly like a man on the moon. Nah, man. Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. I be fly like a man on the moon. I be fly like a man on the moon. It's always all about you, isn't it?